Welcome and behold our mighty host. Well, my friends, we are continuing here with our Teutonic Empire campaign. And actually, we're not an empire yet. We're simply the Teutonic Order. That's actually the goal here of the campaign, is to get to empire status. Now, for those of you that have not seen the first episode, I highly recommend you go and check that out. The first and the second episode, I should say, and we are going to go ahead and jump in here as soon as possible. Now, I have hired a few more standard units here, specifically Samlander swordsmen and some actual Fusnecht heavy axemen. But what we're doing is we're letting our army actually regroup and recruit more units since that last battle. So that's going to be quite important, and I had started to build another army up here. The reason being, I wanted to have at least one army in Riga, considering half the city is actually not Catholic. Half the city is some sort of Eastern religion, Tengri or something. It's not Tengri. You guys, I'm sure, will know. Suomensko, that's what it is. And so we don't want to get involved over there, but we certainly want to keep somebody guarding. That being said, we are losing income. So I'm going to end the turn here, and of course hope recruits come in quite quickly, and that income comes back quite quickly as well. If we need to, we'll of course fire that other general. Now, I had a bunch of comments in my last video saying that you guys want to see everything, that you don't want me to just edit to the battles and things like that, that you really want me to show everything here in this series. So I'm going to do that from now on. Maybe just not the loading screen, but everything else I will show you guys, so that we can of course get a real view of the entirety of our campaign, not just our battles, but the political realities of our current situation. Now, His Holiness is requesting for us to actually build a religious building. We don't have the money for it, not at all, but come on, we are, of course, the Order of the Knights Teuton. We can't turn down a request from the Pope. That's pretty unacceptable. What I do want to do is head into where the Kingdom of Denmark is, of course, our bitter rivals at this particular situation. Oh, that's right. No, we're still at war with the Kingdom of Denmark, and interestingly enough, they also have an army called God's Chosen, so we'll have to determine exactly who is really God's Chosen. Leaving Gdansk worries me, and I'm almost thinking that we could go here and attack into Poznan and grab that region, but I'm guessing we should just continue. What I will do is get my army here on the border, and I'm going to put them in a fortify stance. We might leave them here a turn or two. As a matter of fact, there's an awful plague going on in the city, and we're just very lucky that it hasn't touched Hermann and his men. As for this guy, I really do want to get rid of him, but we're going to wait for a bit. In fact, it wasn't even winter. That wasn't completely necessary, me fortifying that unit. But better be safe than sorry. So many different factions, obviously, as you can imagine, guys. I love that. So here we go. And again, I'm thinking that probably the correct thing to do is to remain in this fortify stance. Yeah, we should have actually waited and done the fortify stance this turn. We are still losing cash there. I wonder, though, if we go ahead and leave this stance and just start walking. I feel like we're going to take a hit either way. So I'm actually going to go ahead, traverse the world as normal, and I am going to work my way into the Danish territory. Assuming we do take a little bit of damage, I think we can deal with it. We're going to go ahead and prepare to attack Stralsund. Quite a few forces here. I think they might slightly outnumber us, but I feel somewhat confident. The tail of the take is that we are evenly matched. And trust me, we're going to lose some men during the winter here, just from attrition. We're sure to lose some men, as you can see right there. So it's going to be interesting to see if we have sufficient men to actually take this city. Now, Amalric is one of our actual governors, so I want to boost that bureaucrat ability. I'm also going to eventually boost the construction ability, because allow this guy to lower the price of buildings and increase the actual income from taxes in this particular city. Now, this is where I'm really concerned. Can we break through with definitely a wounded army from the weather and the elements? But breaking through here would certainly, I think, make our Danish foe, or excuse me, our Danish foe, yeah, no, that was correct, realize that, of course, this is just a war that they're not going to be able to win, quite frankly. And losing 19 men, I don't consider that a tremendous loss. It looks pretty bad here, though, because we moved into this area, and we had a turn or two to starve. So here we go, guys. With a not-so-perfect army, we're going to hit Stralsund, and I just think that that's really going to help us out if we've got Gdansk, Stralsund, and, of course, Riga over here. We've got a sort of power base, and maybe we can even, get some surrender terms with the Danes. Well, boys, it's now or never. Let's go to war. So, of course, as the attacking force, I get to decide here what to fight in. I'm almost tempted by the fog, because for us, the fog might actually be quite useful pushing up onto the city, but I want you guys to have a good viewing experience, so if I can get a normal battle, I will stick to it. If not, I'll stick to the fog. Yeah, there we go, a dry climate. Let's just take a look at that city. That's looking quite beautiful. Right there on the water, that's what we need. We've got a few port cities, and I'm hoping that even if we decide not to be extremely aggressive, that's going to help us make a decent income. Let's start our deployment. Alright, friends. I always like to hear what the general has to say, but we do need to order these men out to their positions quite quickly. So let's do both.
Spears! Now our enemies stand on their walls and think themselves safe. Now they look down upon you with contempt. So, show them how foolish they are, how misguided, and how God no longer loves them.
Oh, that was the sickest burn there at the end about God not loving them. And certainly at this time period, like, that's not something you want to hear. That's pretty rough, man. I think our general went a little too far, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna have to give him a little slap on the wrist there when he gets back home. That's not cool. You gotta watch what you say, Herman. You're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. All right, let's get over there, boys. So as you can see, we're sending all of these forces, particularly the standard melee forces up there. We've got some archers, though, some crossbowmen, really. Let me be completely specific here in the forces we have. We have very few, if any, archers as the Teutons. Really, I think crossbows are our thing. I hate to call us, like, modern, but I think for the time period, we're one of the more modern forces. We rely on crossbows, heavy cavalry, like shock cavalry, things like that, and we've got some pretty well-armored men. Now, I'm not even sure if we need to send all those ladders in. What I'll probably end up doing is actually dropping these two, dropping all of these, as a matter of fact, and just going in with the other ladders. So let's do that now. We're going to drop over here with the Levy Spearmen. Don't forget, guys, that we can do what we did in the last battle. We can actually get our Rutebruders off the horse and have them fighting on the ground. Have them climbing these walls with the rest of our men. And for this fight, I'm definitely going to have the Grand Master himself, Herman, move up here and give our men some much-needed moral support. Come on. Oh, it's starting. It's starting. Here we go, getting up on that wall. I don't want to get too close with the general, but just close enough. And again, I'm probably going to drop this. Go ahead and drop that. Get our spearmen out there as quickly as possible. We'll probably drop these with the heavy axemen as well and move them up as quickly as possible too. We don't need more than a few ladders up here on the walls. And let's see how effective they are with their hits. Not too effective, believe it or not. They've got some pretty good hits on the spearmen, but as for our Schwertbruder units, our heavy infantry here, they aren't doing so well. So here we go, boys. Our men are finally climbing the walls. The moment of truth has arrived. Are we going to end as a tiny, tiny Teutonic Order, or are we going to expand into a mighty empire? Go, boys. Look at that line of enemies. My goodness. So there's quite a few of them here. We can already see some stacking issues with the actual amount of men we sent over, and this is why we need to take some of them off the line there. Not all of them can bring ladders to these gates, and it looks like even over here, this wouldn't even hold. These gates would not even hold. So I'm going to bring them in. There we go. We immediately want to attack here. The Landwehr Spearmen really want to get off the side of the wall here so that more men can get in, of course. These guys are having some trouble, actually, our spearmen, and of course they took some pretty heavy hits before getting here, so I'm not too surprised. I'm actually going to send the axemen over there to try and attack them. This might be a tough one, folks. I'm not going to lie to you guys. In fact, let me drop this. We've got a group coming in here who can hopefully perform a nice flank attack. In fact, I'm going to try to get up this way, although I think they're going to take the other ladder. Here we go. Oh, yes. All right, come on. Get up here. And these are our heavy axemen. I think they're going to be much luckier in this sort of situation. I'll also bring over the Ritterbrüder. I still have not decided whether I'm going to take him off his horse and risk him to attack the enemy here. But that left side, not going to lie to you guys, it's looking pretty rough. Come on, boys. There we go. We got some swordsmen. Let's get in behind the enemy here. Get a nice flank attack. Oh, yes. Hammer and sickle. Right here. Two Soviet? Two Soviet? Here we go. Alright, getting in behind them. And I'm hoping we can trap them in here in an absolute death grip. And shut them down. As always, I always love to hear what you guys think of the cinematography. So if you enjoy me remaining on these battles for a little longer than usual, let me know. I personally love seeing this close combat happening. Of course, I have to pay attention to the rest of the battle, but I can get away with some of that close combat for sure. Over here, our axemen also pushing through. Oh, that's pretty rough. Get in there, boys. And over here, let's take a look. It looks like even our crossbowmen have made it up. I don't recall ordering them up here, but okay. That works. And let's try to get yet another flank attack over here. It's going to be tough, though, getting through this kind of rubble to get the flank attacks. I'm not so sure it's going to actually work like one. Come on. Let's get Hermann here. Now, he's got that second win ability. I think that really helps him more than anyone else. And let's see how we're doing over here. Not bad. We've got those men climbing the wall still. I'm going to bring these spears in over here as well, just to absolutely make sure this is where we're focusing. And I'm going to charge right into the missile units. Trying to wipe out these archers before they retreat is always tough. But here they're going to get stuck in on the combat. So it really gives us an opportunity to just absolutely slaughter them if we can break through the archers. Now, the interesting thing about archers in this mod, and I think you guys may have noticed, they do have close combat weapons. They're not awful at close combat. You know, they can definitely hold their own for a bit. But against our heavy shock infantry, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. In fact, I'm bringing the Ritterbrüder to attack the enemy here, trying to flank us. Absolutely crazy enemy. What was he thinking? We'll go ahead and also hit the archers. Make sure that these crossbowmen, these units don't harm us. Keep in mind that the crossbowmen can absolutely pierce heavy armor. That's definitely a concern with them, so wiping them out immediately is good, and of course the enemy's going to shut that gate. See, it looks like some of them are coming back down. We need to send more of them into the fray. Go, boys. Go, boys. Here we go, and over here on this side, it looks like they're also starting to fall apart. We just want to follow that up, continuous attack, guys, and ultimately sandwich them in, and this will be a massacre. At least that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Yes! Blood for the blood god. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong god, wrong god. Although you can barely tell the difference the way we're playing with these Teutons. Absolutely slaughtering the enemy, guys. Now, they still have a line back here and even a line of spearmen, so that's got me a little worried. I want to cut down these infantry units before they make it back to base, before they make it back to the center there, because they could certainly rally up again. So at this point, the order of the day is kill everything. We've captured the gates. It's going to allow us in quite easily. So we might as well rush through. And also get through with these remaining spearmen units. But now with the cavalry, I'm going to try to run down the remainder of the enemy. And it looks like the garrison units have arrived. Arriving there on this side, I'm going to attack those Speerbodier with our Fuschneck Heavy axes, and I'm starting to get a lot of respect for these German units. They are just brutal. And again, usually very heavy units, shock-based units. They've got wonderful armor. Just absolutely some of the best units money can buy. There we go. Keep them away, boys. And look at this, more spearmen arriving there in the front. So yeah, the fight is not over. They still have plenty of men, and of course they're just toasting us non-stop with these flaming arrows. So let's return fire. I'm actually going to try to hit their crossbowmen, but we do need to get some units to break away from the wall here and get to that tower. Otherwise, they're going to continuously hit us at that tower. Let's rush through, see if we can rush through with the cavalry. Alright, we pretty easily handled the enemy there, and now it's just breaking through the medium spear infantry here, the Landwehr, or the Landwehren, excuse me. Our guys would be Landwehr. Get through it, the brothers. We're even gonna bring Hermann here, guys. I think we need his support, and he needs to prove himself. So let's bring Hermann over here to the battle. Let's get our spearmen. That's right, we're focusing here with the crossbows just on their archers. Actually, medium bow infantry, those are proper longbowmen. Yeah, I don't like that one bit. This is why our Ritterbrothers have to fight so viciously here. And they are taking hits for sure. I don't know if you guys are seeing the blood splatter. One of them's got an arrow right through his neck. He just went down. Yeah, that's not good. These guys were taking hits for sure. All because of the longbowmen and also because of that watchtower.
The enemy is going for our general. Protect him.
Don't worry. General needs to be tougher. Let's use that second wind ability. Hopefully with the general here, the men will fight even harder to secure a victory, and I think they will. In fact, I'm even going to charge in with the crossbowmen, only because they're so close. And like I told you last turn, earlier in this video, our crossbowmen are actually capable of melee combat way more than, you know, for instance, an earlier time period, for instance, an ancient battle. We actually can fight and do pretty well in close combat. Maybe the equivalent of a medium infantry unit, for instance. So we're going to push forward, and one of the reasons it's so important to push forward here is to grab that tower. It's absolutely massacring us. Let's go ahead, get rid of their men there, and let's just take that beautiful tower. Forward, boys! Come on, boys, forward! No time to stop. We'll keep the Fuschknecht here to hold, but I'm going to try to catch up with the spears on those archers. And the only concern here, I do feel like the battle's in our favor. My only concern here is taking the city. We're going to have to face, of course, more enemy armies. So it would be in our best interest to try and get a peace deal very fast, because I think we're going to have a very, very wounded army. Some of these units have been completely massacred on our side. And I'm not sure they're going to be coming back next turn. We might need to actually hire some new ones. We're not even through the city yet, you know, we're just now going to get through the city, and even pushing through, it's going to cost the lives of many men. So if we can get a peace deal with the Danes, we could take a few turns just to lick our wounds, and then decide what we want to do. Taking Copenhagen would be nice, but it's not really on my list of absolute priorities. And actually, if you guys take a look at the first video, I sort of put there a list of different approaches, knightly approaches, and that's really up to you guys. Do you want us to move east and take on the pagan tribes? Do you want us to move south, take on, you know, the Holy Roman Empire and maybe establish ourselves as the new Holy Roman Empire? Do you want us to continue moving west against the Danes, the Swedes, etc.? It's certainly something we could do again, but I want to make absolutely sure that everybody's in agreement. And it looks like, yeah, we're going to have to move up this way. Unless we want to tackle with that tower, which I really don't, and take another gate, we're going to have to try to push in through here. So come on, boys. Break down the wall, and I'm sure these axemen will knock that thing down pretty damn quickly. But now that we're already here, we might as well take this location. And you know, I'm going to get one more attack with the Ritterbruder. But I think I'm going to get out of here with these guys, and just save the remainder of them. They're just such valuable knights. So I'm going to send them back. In fact, I'll send in the general. against that unit. See how they're doing breaking down that wall. Get it down, boys. Get it down. All right. It had to be done. We are taking a risk being so close to the gates. My goodness, come on, Agrippa. But that's gonna be acceptable. I'm just gonna get out of there quickly. And I could move this swordsman unit to take the area. I just don't think we need to. I mean, all we need to do is break through here. There we go. And now we move forward. Let's go. Everybody, get out of here, particularly Herman. I will actually take this crossbowman unit and try to capture the gates. They are kind of partially under our control, so let's just take these units so that they're not constantly shooting at our backs and grab that. Man, what a fight. It really did come down to the last few men. And we're going to charge Valdemar, King Valdemar, guys, for his stance against the Teutonic Order, for his declaration of war against us. There will be no mercy. And I want to make sure it's a fair fight. I'm going to send in our own general here. That's how serious I am about winning here. In fact, we can even bring in some mounted sergeants. It's going to take forever for them to get here, but I think it's worth it. So let's get those mounted sergeants. Here we go, boys. It's all up to you now. That's it, brothers. That's it. Victory it is. I want to kill King Valdemar, though. I know I think pretty sure he automatically dies since they are besieged, but they did have that reinforcing army. So I'm going to keep attacking here for a little bit. And just look at the bloodshed. Let's actually take a look here. I mean, look at that. That's just insanity. An absolute bloodfest. Alright, well, we're going to end the turn, or end the battle. A close victory. Pretty much what I expected. Not the greatest, not the worst. And incredibly, even that's, you know, waiting for him to get all the way up to full strength. But let's see. And Arita Bruder also took quite a hit there. So here we go, guys. We have entered Stralsund. And now I'm going to try to diplomatically end this. See if the enemy will just agree to a peace treaty. I am going to... We need the money. So I'm going to loot and occupy. Before we just occupied, but considering we need the cash... It's going to have to be loot and occupy this time, and we will still repair this area. In fact, maybe in the cost we spent repairing, we're going to end up spending all of our money anyway. Oh, well. Let's see. Repair. Oh! Sorry. Repair. This will have to be converted to something else, but we'll decide a little bit later. And again, all I'm going to do now is remain here with these forces and build this army up. But you can see, this is going to take a long, long time, guys. So if we could get a diplomatic agreement here, then things would work out a lot better for us. So I'm going to go to the Kingdom of Denmark. I am going to initiate diplomacy and see if they will accept a peace treaty. They've rejected... Oh, okay, let's try again. They were close. They really were. The likelihood of success is moderate. I will pay them a bit. So actually our treasury has 542. Pay them 400 gold to accept this. Okay, and there we go, guys. We got our little trade in. I think it was absolutely worth it. That ends the war with Denmark, okay? And now we have Stralsund, Gdansk, and of course, Riga. And I'm thinking we could go for Poznan, a somewhat weaker kingdom here, the Duchy of Greater Poland. We could also decide to continue the war against Denmark later. But the reason I did that is our men absolutely need time to refresh, regenerate, and just kind of get back to normality, to normalcy. I also think that we unlocked, yes we did, so I'm going to go ahead and get the trainer boost and one commander boost. But that's looking pretty good, guys. God's chosen. They're still alive, still prepared for a fight. We just need to, well, bring in some noobs, pretty much, and add them to our ranks. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode. As always, I'd ask that you please hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. The best thing you can do here is share with others that aren't aware of this series, so that we can get as many viewers as possible. Thank you so much, my friends, and glory to the Teutonic Order.